up, unicorns? Welcome to the UX Unicorns podcast. It's your boy, Eric Abrom. Y'all like that intro? I mean, I know you just heard the intro, but this is the intro to the intro. All right, guys, how you guys doing? How was everybody's week? I always get that messed up when I'm asking about your week. Do I really care about your week? Of course I do. I want to know down in the comments, how was your week, guys? I know this week was pretty crazy. If we think about all the things that's been going on, all the things we heard about in the news, and I'm not talking about the debates. We don't get into that here. So we're going to stick to the UX and the design and the tech. But, if you did watch a debate, it was less of a debacle than the first one. The first one was a shit show. And thank you for that entertainment. But anyways, how was your guys' week? My week was pretty good. But, if you guys don't know this, but I've been training for a competition coming up here in November 21st and 22nd. It's the International Open for Atlanta for IBJJF. If you don't know what that is, it's the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation. Sorry, and I've been training for that. It's going to be my first ever Jiu-Jitsu competition, so fingers crossed. It's only like 4 guys in my division as far as like my age and my weight class and also my belt rank. So I'm gonna be at a Masters 1 heavy at blue belt. And Masters I believe Masters 1 is from like 30 to 35 and the Master 2 is like 36 to 40. I could be wrong about that. I'm not really too familiar with that. I gotta make sure I look up all the rules before I go into it. I just know that certain submissions I can't do. I really like knee bars, but being a blue belt, you can't do knee bars until I get to like brown belt, which is insane. Like, what's the difference between a knee bar and an arm bar? Whatever. It's a hyperextension of the joint. But anyway, that's what I'm doing now, guys. So later on today, I'm going to be going to the gym, doing a couple of drills for my competition. When I mean by drills, I mean working on certain techniques, like getting him like into muscle memory. Just like what you do with like design. Like if you design something, you get into like this muscle memory. Like this is my go-to design for when I'm doing XYZ, or this is my go-to process for this. So that's what I've been doing. Let me get some water real quick. We'll edit all that out. But anyway, so that's what I've been doing all week is just training for that, getting ready for that next month. I'm be doing more of that. As far as like how my training process goes. So right now I'm going to be doing just trying to get the rounds in, trying to get the cardio in, trying to make the weight. And the weight class that I'm in is, like I said, it was heavy. The max is 208 with the gi. So I have to get down to like 203 or 204. And I'm at like 210 at the moment. So not too far to go, like 6 pounds. It's not too bad. But so I'm going to be just getting the rounds in, trying to get more of the cardio in, not really focusing too much on the drilling parts. And then closer towards competition, maybe 2 weeks out, start focusing more on, the drilling and the technique and the certain process and plan I want to put into place. Because right now, like my cardio sucks, and I need to get that down. I don't want to lose the match by cardio. I really think my technique's there. I just want to lose the match by cardio, by like not having good conditioning. But that's what I've been doing for that, as far as like my physical fitness and my my mental well-being and my physical well-being. So if you guys are not exercising, man, go out there and do something. Whether that's a 30-minute walk each morning before you start work or even after work. So that kind of helps you guys out as far as like mentally, because you can be cramped up in this office or in your house, so just make sure you guys, do something like that, So that's my jiu-jitsu, man. And As we all know, Adobe Max came about us. Yeah. What do you guys think about Adobe Max? If you guys can't see my face, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little underwhelmed and kind of maybe overwhelmed with the amount of options that they have for as far as breakout sessions. Like I really could not sit through a full session, nor could I find a session that I really wanted to like know more about. Because like in my mindset, like I want to know more about business and strategy and how creativity impacts business and all the other stuff. And so I tried to sit in on one of the designing for icon, like the thing was like the creative director or somebody from Land Rover, right? How they basically took Land Rover from A to Z and to where it is now. And I was trying to sit through that little talk, and I just was just bored out of my mind. Like it was not compelling. It did not resonate with me, and I felt that way for a lot of those little talks. I don't know what it is. I just feel like it just wasn't for me. I know that hey, it's Adobe Max. It was free. You didn't have to travel. It was home. I'm not knocking Adobe and their execution of Adobe Max, but that means it was pretty good as far as like being able to go online and watch these sessions and the keynotes and stuff like that. But to me, it, I don't know. I didn't get much out of it. I would rather read a blog article or listen to an audiobook, in my personal opinion. It's just a bunch of like famous people and celebrities talking about, pull yourself up by your bootstraps or you can do it. And all this information, all this inspirational bullshit that, I really don't care about. I don't need motivation. I can motivate myself. I've been motivating myself since I was 18, since I left the house and never went back. So I don't really need that. Maybe I was looking for more tangible items that I could like, more actionable items that I can actually, use to this day. But, I guess the actionable items is like, hey, we updated our software and this is what you can do now versus, a couple months ago. I mean, that still is kind of cool, but I feel like, as far as like the sessions or the informational stuff, as far as and also they were only 30 minutes long. I don't know how much you can get out of a 30-minute long session as far as like these presenters, but it was more of a like a super duper high level approach to all the things that they do. I mean, I'm not saying I want to get too granular with it, but it was just it was more like 50,000 feet versus 10,000 feet. Things that people can actually I mean, there's those action items that you could actually use and apply. I could be wrong, right? There could have been some sessions out there that I just didn't see um, that had those type of things in there. But as far as like learning about Photoshop or learning about Illustrator or learning how to use Adobe XD, like I don't care about those things, man. And that's just my mindset. Um, I've always been more business oriented in the latter years of my career, whereas before I was more of the tactician, the how to do thing, I type of guy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really focused on the why we do. So that's just my mindset going forward. Like I want to know why we do something, not necessarily a tool that shows me how to make a button or a component, which is fine if that's the career path you are in currently. There's nothing wrong with that. I was there before too, so I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying like for me, as far as like where my mind is, there wasn't really much as far as like how to how to cultivate a business or how to run a business or how to run a creative business through UX or UI or consultancy and how to approach clients and basically how to nurture those conversations and I mean relationships and how to ask better questions to get to that why and to that problem statement. So That was something that I feel like it was missing. But um yeah, so that was it. So basically that's where I'm at with Adobe Max, man. Like, if you guys feel the same way, let me know. If you don't feel the same way, let me know. To me, it's my opinion, of course. So take that with a grain of salt. Don't take my opinion as gold and say like, "Oh my God, Eric said Adobe Max sucks, so therefore it sucked." That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Adobe Max sucked because my perspective of how I approached Adobe Max was a little different from someone else who might have come to you to Adobe Max with a different mind frame as far as like I want to learn how to do XYZ, and I didn't get that. So that's it. And speaking of approaches, let's talk about Quibi. Quibi. Look, from what I've heard in the news, Quibi, they were suffering from the jump. They came out with this great idea. About this short form content where you're taking shows that last like 10 minutes, you know and they got all these top end celebrities like Kevin Hart and the Hemsworth brothers or whatever, and some other like big time celebrities to make these short form content. So I think they dropped the ball in that aspect where they might have spent a lot of money on talent and a lot of money on advertising and a lot of money creating their own content. Granted, like having your own content is great, right? But it shouldn't be the basis of your platform. If you look at all these other platforms that came out, Netflix, you have Disney Plus, you have HBO Max, you have Amazon, Hulu. Look, they all have their own original content. But what else do they also have? Familiar content, right? So you have familiar content like The Office, like all the Disney films that we used to watch when we were kids, all the Disney cartoons that we used to watch when we were kids. So like those things, like all that familiar content brings in all those users for nostalgia, right? Like, oh my God, I remember watching this back when I was in college. I'm going to binge watch this again. And then all of a sudden, if you're on Netflix, they recommend like, hey, you watch The Office. Maybe you might be interested in XYZ. And then all of a sudden you're going down this downward spiral saying like, oh, Netflix has great content. Not just the content that brought me in, but the original content that they put money into, that they highly produce and they put out there and winning Emmys and Grammys for, right? Is that right? Did I say Grammy? Is Grammy for music? Look, I don't know about awards. I don't really care. But anyway, that's what Quibi was missing. They were missing that familiar content. That's not all they were missing, but we're going to get to that. They were missing that familiar content to where their users that would attract their users, right? That would attract the people to their platform to stick and stay to maybe binge watch that content. And so what they were missing was they were missing familiar content. So what they were trying to do was bring in familiar faces from that content to attach to their original content, right? So that was kind of their approach, but that approach kind of backfired because they were taking people who are accustomed to doing long form content and then telling them like, hey, you need to take that long form content idea. We're going to just make you like throw that out the window and do short form content, right? So they approached that in the wrong way where they brought in the wrong people for what they needed. I think I heard it somewhere where, they were bringing in people who are accustomed to doing long form content to do short form content. And who are the best people to produce and make short form content? People like me, people like you, people on YouTube, people on the Vine, people on the Twix and the TikToks. Those are the people that you should have probably invested in versus these super high-end, overpaid celebrities in the first place. Because see, their approach was to, like I said before, bring in familiar faces from that familiar content. But that kind of backfired because guess what you have to do to those familiar faces from those content? You gotta pay him that familiar money, right? So you're just this idea in theory was good, but what they were actually trying to do was change how users operate. Listen to me. This is some UX gold here. They were trying to change the behavior of users. This behavior of users has been ingrained in them for the longest time since content was conceived. You're trying to tell me as a user that you want me to watch your 10-minute show on a phone and only on a phone and only while I'm on the go? What? Though, no. And you want me to pay for that? Dude, YouTube is full of short form content that you can watch on the go. You can watch on your lunch or you can watch on the go, whatever. And guess what, man? It's free. Yeah, you have to watch the ads, but it's free. So I'm just like, why would people pay for that? Why would people pay for that? Can you imagine if Netflix was like, yeah, you're gonna pay us this much a month, and our shows are only 10 minutes, and there's no movies. Oh, it's a movie, but it's 10 minutes. Like, what are we talking about? That's not how we were programmed and ingrained to consume content. As far as like that type of content, like shows and movie and content, we don't consume. That's why it's a formula of 30 minutes and an hour, and then somehow in the future, we started watching movies that are freaking 2, 3, 4 hours long. Avengers? Do you really need to be that damn long? Just do some more prequels and sequels, please. So I think that's where Quibi kind of dropped the ball. Was they were trying to do something that they say was different. I put that in air quotes. That is not different, because they had like web series stuff, and the reason why it's called a web series because it lives on the web, and I can watch it on my phone, I can watch it on my iPad, I can watch it on my desktop, I can watch it on my TV, I can stream it. But Quibi only wanted you to watch it on the phone, and I'm not really sure if it was landscape or horizontal, but from the pictures that I've seen, it was looked like it was only portrait. I'm not watching shows that way. And the CEO or whoever the founder was trying to blame it on COVID. I'm like, oh yeah, people are no longer commuting. When have you ever watched a movie while driving? Come on, man. If you have done that, you need to go to jail because that is dangerous. You don't need to be watching TV while on the drive. I mean, maybe not even driving, maybe even on the train or whatever, but still, you're gonna try to blame your lack of success on people slowing down and having more time to view content. Listen to me. You're gonna blame that on people having to stay at home, not commuting, and having more time to consume content. Netflix has exploded. Disney Plus has exploded. Hulu has exploded. Amazon has exploded. Why? Because they have familiar content, and people are now able to relax and sit down and watch those things that their friends talked about last year with their family, because they no longer have to travel 3,000 miles across the country. They no longer have to commute to work. They can actually take time, sit down with their kids or their boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, and actually consume this content in an enjoyable way, and not feel like it's super manic. Like 10-minute content. Can you imagine the cuts on that to get to the storyline? Sweet Jesus. Especially if it's like an action film. The whole 10 minutes is just jump cuts. Jing, jing, jam, pop, 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 pop. Explosion, explosion, explosion. That would drive me insane. There's no build up, there's no character development, there's none of that shit, because you want to cram all this content to 10 minutes. People might seem that they're that way because of how fast we push toward using technology and the age of social media and cell phone devices. But there needs to be a balance, right? It can't be all one speed. It can't be all one speed. People need to be able to slow down, and that's where those great things like the things I just mentioned, like the Netflixes, the Hulus, and the HBOs. That's where those contents come into play and say like, hey, you had a long day, very speedy, very very busy. Now let's just take time to relax, sit down, have a drink, and let us entertain you, and not you entertaining the world by mentally having to put out your ideas constantly and come up with decisions and problem solve and all those other things that are mentally draining. Like, hey man, put the phone down. Let's watch it on your 80-inch TV and not this, super small device that you have to squint at. I mean, we have YouTube for that, right? Yeah, we use YouTube for squinting content. Yeah, we're gonna call it squint content from now on. I'm gonna trademark that term. Squint content. What does that mean? I mean, you're watching it on a cell phone versus a TV. So, to me, that's my opinion why Quibi, Hubie, whatever the hell. First of all, horrible name. The name alone is gross. Like, why would you choose that name? If it stands for Quick Bites, just fucking call it Quick Bites, bruh. Like Quibi, Quibaba? No, that's sorry about that. That's where you've dropped the ball the first time. So I think the idea, you know, it might have been, I'm not gonna say ahead of its time because it's already been done. But I think what they were trying to do was they were trying to change users' behavior, and that didn't go very well. They might have got all this user data. They came back and said, "Oh my God, this is awesome." But they were just probably using that data just to justify their idea, just to validate their idea, not to really poke holes in their idea, right? They're just looking for the pat on the back, like, "Oh, you guys are doing a good job. This is amazing." And in 6 months, you close down and you burn through, you raise $2 billion, and you have to like give it all back somehow to your investors so you can like salvage those relationships because nobody wants to lose money, especially if you invested in Quibi. So I just want to get that opinion out into the world because everybody has their take on why that business failed, but nobody's really talking about the user experience side of it, right? People are just saying like, "Oh, just a bad deal," that's just a horrible idea. I think the idea, and granted, was an old idea. It's just a remix type of idea, but where they dropped the ball was they weren't willing to pivot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can only get Quibi on a phone. I can't get it on my Roku TV. I can't. I mean, why would I want to watch that type of content only on a phone, man? Like, I'm not always on my phone, and I don't want to be on my phone constantly. Sometimes I want to throw my phone in the trash and just get rid of it. That's why I delete certain apps off of my phone, like Facebook. I don't I don't have Facebook on my phone, nor that I even really use Facebook. I use mostly like Instagram, which is a part of Facebook, but I'm talking about Facebook as the app, not the actual company. And speaking of Facebook as an app, I'm done with Facebook. I'm just done with Facebook. The reason why I say I'm done with Facebook is because, I do this podcast and I do the audio version, I do the video version that you can find on YouTube. Check it out, Ugly Unicorns. Check it out. Boom, boom, boom. And don't forget the uglyunicorns.com as well. Anyway, so I was trying, you know how YouTube you can upload your video, you can put a title, put a description, put tags and thumbnails and all this other jazz, right? And it's seamless. You just put it in there, it's done, donezo. But I tried to do that with Facebook's new like video uploader thing. It's kind of maybe like it's a competition to YouTube. I tried that today because I wanted to upload episodes 2 and 4 to my Facebook page, my Ugly Unicorns podcast Facebook page, right? If you haven't gone there, check it out. So I wanted to upload those 2 episodes and some of the clips to the Facebook page. using their uploader. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I didn't see this before, so I'm going through it. And so I upload a video. I upload episodes 3 and 4. So I go to the little panel. It says, upload it. I'm like, cool, it's uploaded. Hell yeah, we're good to go. Then I actually click on the video. It says processing, and then under processing it says issue. I'm like, all right, what's the damn issue? They never told me the issue. It just said issue. It didn't say like file size too big or content too long or anything like that. It just said issue. I'm like, Facebook, what the fuck is the issue? Why can't I upload a video to your platform? And it's crazy because when you click on it, when you click on the issue, it gives you like a generic type of messaging. It doesn't really tell you what the issue is, the issue that I can go in and fix. You know what I'm saying? So I click on it and I go to edit the video. Remember I said it said processing? And then when I looked at it, it said published. I'm like, what the fuck? What are we doing? In the thing, it said processing with the orange or yellow dot. I'm like, okay, that means it's not uploaded or published yet, so something's going on. And it also says issue. Click on it, edit, look at the bottom, it's green, it says published. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Why does it say published when it says processing with an issue? I don't understand, Facebook. Why are you confusing me? Why are you confusing me? I'm in a bad relationship right now. You hit me, you tell me you love me, I come back to you. Then I give you money, right? I paid for ads before in the past. I give you money. And speaking of money, so if you guys never use Facebook ads, don't do it. It's a waste of money. If you do it right, it's pretty good. But the process of giving them money is very easy. Very easy. Put your credit card in, whatever. You're good to go. Processing, confirm, done. So Facebook has a monetization feature, kind of like what YouTube has, right? And so to monetize your video, you have to have your page be enabled for that monetization. My page is enabled. I'm able to do that. But when you go to try to monetize the monetization section, you gotta jump through friggin' hoops, man. You gotta take this code, you gotta embed it, you gotta agree to all the terms, you gotta go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. Each steps has, sorry for the dog barking. But anyway, so like you had to go through this whole process, and it's insane. Like the amount of steps and the amount of stuff that you have to go through just to get monetized on Facebook it's not worth it. Because like I don't want to take a code and embed it on my website so you can start tracking me. Like I don't want the tracking code on my website. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's easy to get Facebook money, but to monetize your own content and get paid for it, it's a struggle bus and it's a problem. So that's why I'm done with Facebook. I don't want to use Facebook anymore. As far as like the platform, I'm not done with Facebook, the company, but as far as like Facebook, the app, I'm done with that. But anyway, what I really want to talk about is, UX bootcamps, UX certifications, online learning for UX design, all the different type of jazz. So I get hit up a lot and people asking, hey, Eric, what do you recommend as far as, UX resources? Are there any books that I could read, or are there any, online like videos I could watch for free? And so when that person approached me and asked me that question, I don't know, something in me was just like, what? For free? You think that you're going to come into a new career and not put any investment into it or any skin in the game into it? Like, what are we talking about here? So she's a graphic designer. So I'm like, all right, so you mean to tell me that you went to design school, which you paid money for. You got a degree in graphic design, which you paid money for. Um, all the programs that you need, you probably, taught yourself, but you paid money for that, right? You invested in that, right? So why would you not take that same approach into coming into user experience or into another career field? Why do people think that they can get away with the least amount of effort for all the gain? I don't understand that. Why would you approach something and expecting to get it all done for free? Now, I'm not saying that you can't do that. And some people probably did do that. But from my perspective, anything that's worth it is worth investing in. And if you don't put anything into it, why should you expect to get anything out of it? So whether it doesn't have to necessarily be money or whatever, it could be just the amount of time you put into it, your ethic that you put into it. But I felt like this person was looking for an easy out. Basically, she was asking me like, "Yo, I heard that you got into user experience and you taught yourself." That's not true. I didn't teach myself 100%. I've had help along the way, right? And the help that I got was from that boot camp. Now, I didn't finish the boot camp. And I never said that I didn't gain anything from the boot camp. I'm just saying, I didn't finish the whole 6 months of the boot camp. And I got a job during the boot camp. But the boot camp definitely helped me in a way to help me understand research and help me understand that, hey, I'm not my user, right? So don't put yourself as your persona as when you're making these user personas, right? And so that's what that boot camp has taught me, just as far as that goes. But I don't know, am I approaching this the wrong way, guys? Like that shit rubbed me the wrong way just a little bit because I felt like she was trying to gain something without putting any skin into the game, right? So that's why I say like anything that's worth it, it's worth putting some investment into it. But let's get to the stock of UX boot camps. Are they worth it? It just depends. It depends. It's worth it if you can get a job, in UX. For me, it was worth it because at the end of my design career, I was only making an X amount of money. And when I made the switch over to user experience, my salary increased almost 30 grand when I made that switch over to a new career field. And let's just say it was 30 grand, right? And the boot camp that I took cost me 5 grand. Would you say that's a good investment? I would say yes. I would say that I gained $25,000 in income if you take the 5,000 minus the 30. So to me, because I spent 5 grand, but I increased my salary by 30, that's a 100% investment into myself. And I will always bet on myself more than the stock market. So yes, that was a good investment. Was it free? No, it was not free. It cost 5 grand and I didn't even finish the course and I'm still paying for it. Right? So you tell me, is it worth it? And the reason why I think that these boot camps, some could be good, some could be bad, it could be hit or miss. It just depends on that type of person. But from my perspective, when I think about boot camps and the relevancy and do they really matter? Well, they matter if you're the type of person that you don't really have a design background, you don't really know how to put together a portfolio, you don't really know much about anything design, boot camps are perfect for you. I would highly recommend you do a boot camp. And I don't recommend that you find the cheapest boot camp either. I mean, you find a boot camp that's good to good for your needs, right? Because you want to get to a boot camp where, you're not really a self-starter, you're not really a self-learner. So like, I wouldn't recommend people who don't have that initiative, who need a lot of structure, to do like a course like a springboard, because you essentially are teaching yourself. Like, they give you all the content, and it's basically curated content, and you get this mentor, you can ask questions, but the mentor does not teach you, right? So therefore, it's all on you. And so that's why I don't recommend springboard for people like that. But for people who need, to be taught almost like a classroom setting, and you need a little more structure, need a little more guidance, and I recommend a boot camp like Georgia Tech's boot camp. These are not sponsored by Georgia Tech, nor are they sponsored by Springboard. It just, like, from what I experienced, from what I know, is that, yeah, the Georgia Tech one costs $10,000, right? But you're getting all the structure you need. You're getting all the attention you need. They put you with actual people, right? When you're doing Springboard, you're by yourself. You don't have classmates. You're doing shit all by yourself. But with the Georgia Tech, when you have classmates, and you get to interact with them, you get to basically be like a mini UX team and have like, conflict resolutions and decisions and arguments and shit like that. So that's why I think boot camps are good for particularly people like that. And yeah, when you think about it, it costs a lot of money. Like, oh my God, it's $10,000, costs $5,000. Can't believe you pay for that. But at the same time, I increased my salary by 30 grand. Does that $10,000 look as bad now? No, it does not. It does not look. It looks like I would do that every time. If I could spend 10,000, if I could spend 5,000 and make 25,000, I would do that every freaking day. Every day I would do that. And I don't know anybody that would not do that. You know what I'm saying? So when people approach things and they approach it in the light of like free. Look, man, I don't believe in free. This is my personal opinion. Like, I don't ask people for free. I don't approach people and say, like, hey, can I get this for free? Because I know that they have to invest time in delivering that asset, or invest time in creating that asset. Like, why would you expect something to be for free if you yourself won't do things for free? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't get it, man. Like, all these, even me making this podcast, even me making these YouTube videos. Yeah, you consume it for free, but it costs my time, it costs my money, I have to buy the equipment. And I'm not complaining about that because I do it for fun. But just know that it's not free. You feel me? And that's all I'm saying. When you approach things in that light, I think you get what you pay for. Honestly, not to say like no one can go out and learn a user experience by themselves, or learn how to do design by themselves. Yes, you can yourself learn how to do all that, but there's going to be some investment into something, right? Whether you're buying a course on Udemy, whether you're using LinkedIn Learning, or whether you're using Skillshare, you're going to spend money on something. This is all I'm saying. And if you can't go out and find all free content, guess who else is looking at all free content? Everyone. Then everybody's regurgitating the same ideology that you're regurgitating. And then when you go to these jobs and they're interviewing, they're like, did we just interview you? No, I think we just interviewed you because you sound just like the last person. Where are you guys getting this information from? Where are you guys learning this from? Like, we don't know. And so that's why I don't believe in approaching things in that light. But, is it worth it? To me, it can be. It just can be. And sometimes it depends on people's financial situations. Sometimes it's not worth it at all. I've gone to, meetups, and I meet people here in Atlanta who have done this program called General Assembly, right? Um, General Assembly is like 15 grand, or if not more. And I've seen people quit their jobs, spend that type of money. Some people might even keep their jobs. And, it takes them a year to get a UX job, or they or they're still actively looking to get a UX job. So some would say like, well, but that's insane. Well, to me, it's not insane. It's just that these people were willing to take a risk on themselves in order to make their lives a little bit better. Now, it might take them a little bit longer to get a job. Maybe their approach needs to be a little bit different when they approach these jobs. I don't know. But it is kind of heartbreaking to see someone spend all that time, spend 6 months learning, spend $15,000 in that 6 months, and to like still be looking for a job 1, 2, 3 years later. To me, that's kind of heartbreaking. And I don't know what to do or what to say to help them to get a job. I just know that you have to take a chance on yourself. You gotta be willing to put some skin in the game, even if it's all your skin. Some people might not. Some people might be able just to put a toe in the game. It's just a toe. Some people, their whole body goes into it. They risk it all, and you have to risk something to order to appreciate. Where you're even going, where you even come from. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people, I kind of got lucky, because I chose a career field, graphic design, that sort of can segue into user experience. A lot of people might not have that segueable of a type of job. You could come from like, mopping floors at McDonald's or whatever, and you're like, I'm going to do user experience. Like, yeah, that might be a little hard, maybe a little difficult. And if you don't have a degree and you're trying to do user experience, then you're not gonna get a job in user experience, because even the most basic jobs require you to have a bachelor's degree. I mean, shit. Even enterprise rent a car requires you to have a bachelor's degree. Any bachelor's degree, just a bachelor's degree. It could be a bachelor's degree in shoveling shit. They just want something, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, do you need certification? No, you don't need a certification. To me, certifications are just ways of, these companies, validating why you spent so much money. Does that make any sense? If like you spend all this money and you don't get anything, it's like, what did I just buy? So that's why the certification is a good tool to say like, hey, here's a certification. You got certified, basically saying you did this course. Great. And I see people all the time posting on LinkedIn like, I just got my certification in Springboard. I just got my certification in Newman Norman. I just got my certification in General Assembly. Good for you, man. Good for you. Will it help you get a job? No. Why? Because companies don't give a damn about certifications. Companies care about, can you come in and do the job? And do you have the capabilities of even doing the job? But can you prove to me that you can do the job, right? That's why portfolios are your best tool for getting a job, because it showcases that you can do the work, right? I mean, some companies might even go as far as to giving you a whiteboard challenge to even further prove that you could do the work. Now, I've never done one of those, but I've interviewed UX designers where we did one of those, where we had a whiteboard challenge, where we gave them a task and we wanted to see how they would execute. So I've been in the war room of that, but I've never personally did one, but I've delivered to have people do them for me. So That's what I'm saying. Like, don't put so much effort into, UX boot camps and certifications. More or less certifications, right? Don't put so much eggs into that. For me personally, when I was going through the Springboard boot camp, I put more of my effort into my portfolio. Why? Because I was a graphic designer and I already had a portfolio, which was a leg up for me amongst the competition. And when I say competition, I mean you. I know we're friends, I know we're buddies, but if you're interviewing and I'm interviewing, you're competition because guess what? That's food for my family. That's money for my family. And you're not gonna pay for my bills. So that's also a rant that I won't get on. People are like, oh, we're friends. It's not competition. I don't see it that way. You're freaking crazy. Competition's competition. And this is dog eat dog world out here. And I would do anything to be better than you. Whether that's me staying out 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, working on my portfolio. I'm doing stuff that you're not doing. While you're in the bed sleep, I'm designing. While you're at watching Netflix, I'm updating my portfolio. While you're freaking eating ice cream, I'm drawing, I'm doing sketches. So yeah, there's level to this game. So I wouldn't put too much focus on, certifications. I would say I would put all my focus into proving that I can do the job. Like, you don't have to go to your first UX job knowing how to do everything. That's not what they're looking for. They're not necessarily looking for a UX unicorn, which is nice to have. I don't even have that hat on today. Ugly unicorns today. But anyway, that's not necessarily what they're looking for. First of all, they're probably looking like, hey, can he or she actually do the job that we're asking? I know they probably can't do all of it, but can they do the core? Can they do the core things of this position? Okay, yeah. Secondly, probably even firstly, are they a good person? I would switch those around. I would say that, hey, is this person a good person? I think it'll be a good asset to the team. Are they going to be able to help and make an immediate impact? Hey, are they going to be a dick? If no, like, hey, let's talk to so and so. And then secondly, is like, hey, can you do the core functions of this job? Oh, you can? Great. We'll teach you the rest. That's where the real education comes in. That's where the real learning comes in. That's where you get your real certification, aka dollar bills, that paycheck when that comes every week. So that's the real certification right there. So, I'm not saying, guys, don't post your certification on LinkedIn or whatever. I'm just saying nobody cares. Look, this is a blunt Sunday, and I'm bringing the truth. All I'm saying is nobody really cares about your certification. I want to see your portfolio. I want to see your work. And that's it. That's it. I honestly think that someone with I might be a little biased here, so don't hurt me. I honestly think someone with a good design background, a strong work ethic, and a willingness to learn can actually get a UX job without going through a boot camp. Because guess what? People have been getting UX jobs well before they were boot camps. Think about that, guys. How did the UX manager get into UX? Did he or she take a boot camp? No. My manager didn't take a boot camp. It was like out of necessity. It just sort of just happened. It just sort of just melded into it. Now it's this highly focused thing. Now people are hiring for this role, but you don't need certification. I didn't get a job with a certification from a UX boot camp. And that's all I'm saying. If you take, like I said before, strong design background, willingness to learn, and good work ethic, when I say in a strong portfolio, you can get a UX job without taking a boot camp. You can save that $10,000, right? You can take that $10,000 and invest it in some new clothes or something. I don't know. whatever you want to do, a new laptop or some more software, some more program. Maybe you should take that $10,000. You should invest in some management skills, some management training. You know, some speech training. Maybe you want to invest in negotiations training, sales training, maybe things like that. Because like one, you're a designer, you already know how to use the programs, you already know how to design. So why are you taking a course on design? Right? So you can probably go on Udemy, you can probably go on LinkedIn Learning, you can probably go on like Skillshare and learn how to do UX research and all the other artifacts that you have to deliver, right? You can save money in that. But what you should do is maybe you should invest in like soft skill training, like the things I just said before. Maybe you should invest in some more books, audiobooks. Maybe you should go to like a conference. Maybe you should do some more online things. Get those type of things, right? Because you can already do the tactical items. You just need to work on the soft skills, right? So that's what I would do if I was currently doing this. I would just be like, look, I'm gonna figure out this whole research thing and all the artifacts I have to make, and I work on my wireframe and things like that. But I'm going to invest in more of like learning the business, speaking with stakeholders, negotiations, understanding business. Like I said before, that's what I would probably focus on. But that's just me from a person who's a former designer now. If you don't have the design background, by all means, go ahead and do the boot camp. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But you know, to approach anything and not think that you have to invest something into it is a little strange to me. Um, this nothing is ever free, man. Like that's all I'm saying. And to look at it in that way, is you're already a step behind. You know what I'm saying? If you're thinking about doing UX, you're already a step behind. Just do it. If you're thinking about doing UX, but you want to do it for free, you're two steps behind. Because one, you're not doing it, and then two, you're spending all your time looking for free assets to do it. Like I said before, you have to at some point invest in something, whether that's time or money. Most likely, if you're trying to do it the whole free route, you're going to invest all your time because one, you have to self-learn. Two, you're looking for all the free assets. Three, you got to do all the things you got to, work on and work on and work on them. So the reason why boot camps are great because it condenses the time and accelerates the learning. So I pay you 10 grand, you teach me all these different things. You put me in a structure. I spend less time researching and finding free assets. Granted, UX Bootcamp is not going to teach you everything about user experience. You're not going to come out of UX and of these boot camps and get the certification and say like, I'm good. No, there is continuing education when you're in the boot camp and when you're out of the boot camp. Because you will not learn everything. They give you a small foundation. When I say small foundation, I mean like the sidewalk, maybe a couple steps. You don't have a kitchen, you don't have a bedroom yet. Think of a house and you're trying to build your UX career. And you need a foundation, right? You need this big slab of concrete, right? And so you need to get all these ingredients to mix in to make this concrete. You need the rocks, you need the sand, you need the cure, and you need the water, right? You need all four of these things. And you're trying to learn it for free. So you got to go over here for the water, you got to go over here for the sand, you got to go over here for the cure, you got to go over here for the whatever. Did I say four things? It was four things. So you got to do all those different things, and each one of them takes a lot of time to mix to make your foundation. And what the bootcamp does is say, like, look, we got all four of the ingredients right here. It's already pre-mixed, and we already have a section of the foundation already done. That's what the bootcamp does. It gets all those ingredients for you. It mixes them all for you. It even pours the foundation for you. But it's not the full foundation. We might have only poured the living room. But it's up to you to take what we gave you and start building other parts of your foundation. Now you have your bedroom, now you have your kitchen, now you have your dining rooms. It's up to you to do all the rest of those things. But we brought you to the table. When you're doing it by yourself, you got to do all that and then more. You got to do more legwork. So that's kind of what I wanted to touch on today was UX boot camps. I know I didn't get into the nitty gritty of like which boot camp would you recommend or which boot camp should I do. Look, like I said before, it's up to you. It's up to your situation. It's up to your degree of learning, in your learning abilities. Like I said, if you're a self starter and you don't need that someone to push you, and you can do it all by yourself, then maybe maybe a springboard or a block is best for you, right? But if you do need that, that that structure and that classroom format, maybe something like Georgia Tech's boot camp would be good for you. I think General Assembly does something similar to what Georgia Tech does. Not really sure, but I'm pretty sure I'll get some comments on what day is. So, guys, this has been the podcast. I really appreciate you guys listening along. Sorry about the dog barking. I had to cut it off earlier so I can go see what the heck was going on. Why my dog was barking like that? I think my wife walked in, but it's all good. We got her done for this week. And guys, what do you think about Quibi? What do you think about Adobe Max? And also, don't forget, if you haven't tried Jiu-Jitsu, man, go ahead and check it out. Do that. But anyways, make sure you go to uglyunicorns.com. Check out we got some merch on there. We got the zombie unicorn t-shirt for sale. So check that out if you want to. I don't really give a damn, but anyway, check that out if you want to. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel where this will be hosted, the video portion, and also make sure if you listen to podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever, make sure you subscribe and rate the podcast 5 stars. We're trying to make moves over here, but until then, guys, be safe, be merry, be happy, and like I always say, I didn't forget how to sing this episode. Every episode, I'm going to do some sort of singing, trying to get that record deal. Like I always say, don't just be a unicorn. Be an ugly unicorn. Peace.